Hey guys, how's it going? So today's video is going to be a very different kind of unboxing. Now, I'm not particularly sure where this project came from, but one of these days I received an email in my inbox, and basically it said, hey, my name's Ryan, and I'm working on this project that is very kind of geared towards the history of yo-yoing. So what we've decided to do is get 5 different yo-yos that kind of are reminiscent of the major technological breakthroughs in yo-yoing. So we thought it'd be cool to send you a set for you to unbox and you to kind of tinker around with. So yeah, that's what I'm doing now. So this was really interesting because, and let's unbox this. So this was really interesting mainly because a lot of the yo-yos I unboxed are more or less yo-yos that are very current, very recent, and to be perfectly honest, I don't pay a lot of attention to those older, really traditional yo-yos. In fact, I was part of the era of Yo-Yo Jam, so about the tail end of Yo-Yo Jam. Basically when Yo-Yo Jam was at its peak and was kind of going down. So those are about as far back as I go. But this is really gonna be a history lesson. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. Alright. How can we... Oh! Alright. Yo! So we've got these brochures. Ooh. I'm guessing that this was like an older manual. Ah! Here we go. So there are some supporting documents here that you guys can go ahead, take a look at. So that's it there. Ooh, we've got an entire booklet based on this. Let me have a quick flick through this. But okay, let's take a closer look at this. Alright, let's do this. So, alright, I'm kind of half in the shot, half not in it. So we've got an absorbent amount of bubble wrap. Oh, this is sick. So right here, we have the stand. And it starts very closely in the middle. Oh, you can kind of see my camera there, but alright. From 1928 all the way to 1958, which is the butterfly, and then to 2018, which is Stole, string rocket. I'm guessing that this is their own design because this is the only kind of name I don't recognize, so yeah. Let's go ahead and check this out. Okay, so inside the huge box that they gave me, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yo-yos, each in their own individual sack. And you know what? Let's try and open this thing chronologically, alright? So, this is the first one. Actually, well, let's go for the second one, alright? Just to kind of... Okay. 1928. Boom. This is the very first yo-yo. History time with Brent. Alright, so this is the 1928 Pedro Flores edition. So, for those of you who don't know, Pedro Flores, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Ooh. Yo, this feels really fun, very retro. Okay. So, Pedro Flores was regarded as basically the founder of the modern day yo-yo. So he was a Filipino guy, an immigrant actually, and what he did was he came to the US to become a lawyer, of all things. And he was in a pretty prestigious school. But basically one day, he went out and he decided, he saw some guy, and basically this other guy had made millions of dollars selling a ball and a string, kind of wrapped together. And you know, coming from the Philippines, he'd always kind of had this cultural connection to the yo-yo. So what he did was he dropped out of law school, set up his own manufacturing thing, and basically became the guy that brought yo-yoing to the United States. He was the first kind of mass producer, so to speak. Oh, sick! Yo! These yo-yos actually unscrew. Okay, That's really cool. I did not know they could do that. That is sick. Oh my god, these yo-yos can unscrew. So, 1928, okay? So, essentially what he did was, he was the guy who mass-produced yo-yos, and he made like hundreds of thousands of these things. And yeah, that is where kind of most people say the origin of the yo-yo began. Some people say that it was a weapon. I don't really think that's true. As a yo-yo player, I've got a lot of experience with these things, and if I wanted to use it as a weapon, it'd be a terrible weapon, so I don't think that's true. But yeah, if you ever wondered where it first kind of came to be, that's this thing, alright? 1928. Important note, this yo-yo can unscrew. Earlier yo-yos, something that was essentially made in 1928, wouldn't have been able to unscrew the round thing. So this isn't like a replica from 1928, but it's like a modernized version, and the yo-yo itself feels really nice. It feels really high quality, really really expensive. It doesn't feel like something that's been whacked into like a factory. It feels very organic, so interesting stuff. But, like all things, Pedro Flores eventually sold the rights and the designs to another company. And this was the big bad corporate company that would soon be the name that you think of when you think of yo-yos. And what do you guys think of? Duncan. That's who he sold it to. So I think what happened was he eventually sold it to Duncan, and it was for an exorbitant amount. Like, it was about $250,000. Now, that's a big sum of money today. In 1928, that would have equated to like a tech startup being sold for like $1 million or something. That was a huge amount of money, like $250,000. But essentially, Duncan bought it and basically became the monopoly. So when you guys hear about, you know, Duncan being super anal and Duncan being like that one guy that enforces their copyrights and patents, it's because they spent $250,000 on this idea. I don't even know how much that would be in 2018 dollars. It's a crap ton. So yeah, so what happened after that? Well, Duncan essentially kind of capitalized on its big name in the yo-yo world, and one of the yo-yo presenters designed this. It's what us yo-yo players would call the butterfly shape. And this was in 1958, and this was kind of made by a yo-yo demonstrator named Wayne Lundberg. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that properly. But what happened with this was that it opened up the realms for some pretty cool tricks. So all of a sudden, landing on the string was made possible. And what he would call this was the butterfly shape. Fun fact, and I'm not hating on Duncan or anything, but Duncan didn't really like the fact that people were kind of using this as a term to describe all yo-yos. So I think they copyrighted the name, and there were some ugly lawsuits. And you know what? Duncan sued a lot of people and a lot of different yo-yo companies in the ensuing years. And you know, I'd always thought that, man, you know, why are you guys so anal? But now the fact that they spent 250 grand on the name, that's probably why. Anyway, it wouldn't be for a while until somebody decided to up the game a little bit more. And this is where, 1965. So what happened next? Well, the next kind of major breakthrough is something that you and I really take for granted today, and it was the introduction of the ball bearing. So, who was the first guy to put a ball bearing in a yo-yo? Well, to be honest, I'm not really sure, but according to the patents thing in Google, you can go ahead and check that out, it was a guy by the name of Milton S. Isaacson, and it was around 1965 that we first chucked bearings into yo-yos. I'm not sure if this is a bearing or not, because this feels like a fixed axle. But let's see. Yep, that is a fixed axle. It would have been cool if this thing had an actual bearing in it to display the fact that this was the guy who first introduced the ball bearing, but sure, okay. Also, we kind of saw this kind of, this shift between, the Imperial design and this modified Imperial design. So, the Yoyo itself is still a, what do you call it? A fixed axle Yoyo. I think all these Yoyos are fixed axles. But, essentially, 1965, Milton Isaacson, he was the guy that first put in the ball bearing in the Yoyo. And that opened up a new, completely new range of tricks that basically you and I take for granted. But this is still very much a fixed axle kind of Yoyo. And you guys can really see that, like, my level of skill has completely dropped. Not because of anything, but just the Yoyos. Because, you know, this is kind of the technology that was available in the 1965s. Anyway, from here, we move on to the last Yoyo, and I'm thinking that, yeah. Oh, sick. 2018. So this is their design. This is the, what do they call it? The Stolly. And, oh wow. This is pretty fun playing, actually. All these Yoyos are fixed axle, which is cool, actually. But you know the thing that's really also cool about these Yoyos? You can unscrew them. So you can really kind of play with these things and really try and, you know, figure out how to get the best out of them and like try and do crazy tricks and not worry about the Yoyo because you can unscrew it, put it back together, and that's that. There've been times where I've tried to, basically Yoyo with a fixed axle Yoyo, and it's one of those authentic like Duncan Imperials or Duncan Butterflies, and you get a knot in them, you can't unscrew it to take it out. So these are cool for that. So if you ever want to show off or do some old school tricks or, you know, do the whole thing where it's like, oh, I can do this and practice on a fixed axle Yoyo, these are great because they actually unscrew. Ooh. But then again, it's still fixed axle, limited with the playability. So, the granddaddy of Yoyoing, where is it? Here we go. The good old Pedro Flores Imperial. Oh, it's even got the names on them. Yo, look at that. Alright. So then we had the Duncan Imperial. We had the Duncan Butterfly. And then we have the Isaacson, so the modified Imperial shape, but what he was more influential for was the ball bearing. So we got that, and chuck that one there. And we got their latest and greatest. Alright. Sweet. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope you found it at least mildly entertaining. I was completely nerfed by the ability to do tricks with these Yoyos, but hey, I don't think that's what they were designed for. They were more designed as kind of collector's item. Something that you'd really kind of get a kick out of in a news agency. So yeah, any comments, questions, criticisms, post them down below, and there's also a link to the Kickstarter. So if you guys want to get your own set of vintage, high quality, wooden, retro Yoyos, you guys can go ahead and do that, alright? So check the links below, and I'll see you guys next time.